Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. I am Shane Davis, and we're doing a short video today. I saw this article. I really want to talk about it. Is Mark Millar coming in to write, well, for DC Comics, or Marvel Comics in this case? It's interesting because people are kind of speculating. And look, Rich Johnson, think of him what you will, but sometimes he's on to something here. And if you guys will track back, I think it was Comics Pro this year, ahead of the Diamond bankruptcy, I think. Marvel and DC basically said that they were going to do a 4-issue crossover, no talent yet figured out. And you go to ask yourself, it's like, well, who would you get to do this? And why? And this is after they started reprinting the amalgam stuff from the 90s. And Jim Lee was on a bidding war, I guess, between Marvel and DC, and he was drawing some of the covers for that omnibus. So he was kind of getting his hands involved in some Marvel stuff. Well, anyways, he ends up at DC Comics, and both Marvel and DC Comics have kind of like this interesting situation right now, and why probably this crossover is happening, because there's bad blood on the last one. But, a lot of people have left. People don't remember. But basically, Marvel left DC with printing the print bill for 3 out of 4 of the Avengers Justice League crossover. So they stiffed DC on the print bill on that. And they were never to do that again. Now, desperate times call for desperate measures. What if you could get Mark Millar, right? Would Mark Millar be the talent, the pull that could bring people to the yard, to bring retro fans back into comic shops? I don't even know. This is what's interesting about this whole speculation of this event, is it will only serve 4 months. And the other thing is, like, I don't know what is needed more right now. Is it a big book that would bring everybody to the comic shop? Of course, that's a great thing. But more so, I think what's needed right now in the American comic book is some sort of security, because everything looks really dire right now. I know I've heard people say, well, it doesn't matter that Penguin Random or Diamond shutting down. Marvel and DC, Image, Boom, all these people, they'll go to Penguin Random House. Yeah, but the people have to understand it's not about comics getting published or somebody handing these out to shops. Diamond started chasing down a lot of shops that owed them money, and a lot of shops are closing down. I actually had a shop near me, it was open a month ago, now it's closed. I don't know what's up with that. You have to understand, owning and running a comic shop is like any other business. If it doesn't look secure, you're going to cash out. You're going to go like, it's time for me to get out of selling comics, just shut the shop down or change it into something else, right? So in a way, something like this, maybe to the comic book retailer, looks really great. I'm talking about Diamond, though. Diamond is effectively halting distribution. This is coming from a small publisher who's telling everybody and issued a statement saying how Diamond is stopping. This is after Diamond just recently laid off a lot of people. So if you're a comic book shop and you haven't quite switched over to Penguin Random House or whatever distributor that's handling Marvel and DC right now, and you were hanging in there for Diamond, you're like, yeah, 100%. You're not getting books pretty soon. And this means a lot of things, like Diamond preview toys, the gaming side of things. If you were one of those guys out there using Diamond as a way to get your Magic cards, a lot of this stuff is changing. The second shop I went into last weekend, as soon as I went in, they were like, we're closing down. They were boxing stuff up, and they're like, well, that we're over. It's time to move on, or something like that. So this is, again, a weird soft. I think the market is so soft right now. I don't know anybody talking about wanting to open up a comic book shop. And that's probably the thing that will hurt the American comic book industry the most, because Marvel and DC, as much as they've tried to do digital initiatives, original graphic novels, all of this stuff, they have not quite yet got away from the monthly comic. And again, I'm not so sure the death of the monthly comic has already happened. Is it a healthy market anymore? Is it sustainable? Does Marvel and DC have to go just to original graphic novel? I don't know if they can, because Marvel and DC, the publishing beast it is, doesn't know really how to market like that with that many releases. It would limit how many books a year they would put out. It would totally cripple the American comic book industry. Now, back to Mark Millar. This is in Mark Millar's best interest. And Mark Millar, if he likes comics as a fan, I mean, look, he has this Netflix deal. He doesn't have to do this at all. But Mark loves comics. He loves the comic industry. A lot of people that should have been retired by now, maybe even Jim Lee, are back in the saddle for Hush 2. Why? Because DC paid the most. So he's not doing X-Men, and DC Comics needs a big hit to, again, try to bring people back to the yard. And to be honest, I'm not hearing a lot of people, like, I don't think Hush 2 is right now setting the world on fire. So I'm left with this. I mean, has Mark Millar been away from Marvel and DC for too long doing his independent stuff that most people, there would ideally be some fans that are like, well, I've not really read much Mark Millar stuff unless it was Civil War or something like that. I mean, there's such a long gap there. Again, Hush 2, I think it'd be great to see him write Superman. That's kind of hinted at here. But it seems like he's been approached by CB Cebulski too. It's such a weird thing, because it's like, who are the next big up and coming talents in comics? Why is Transformers and G.I. Joe top selling books right now? Is it superhero fatigue? Is it just the way these characters have been handled by some of the people at Marvel and DC, whether it be talent, editors in chief, or SJWs? Is the hate for, I don't know, an apathy by fans? Have they just been ran off? Can you bring them back once you ran them off? I don't know. I see a lot of weird stuff like DC Comics with Hush selling bundles of those books at cost, just trying to spike the sales of the books. There's a lot of things that, knowing retailers, I see both companies trying to do, trying to keep retailers, I'm afraid, invested in their shops. I mean, there has not been any great news in the American comic book industry as far as the way business has been done. You could say this is a transitional time, but it doesn't really feel like Marvel and DC's transitioning to anything but trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole right now. I don't know. Are they rebuilding? Do they have the talent to rebuild the American comic book industry? And I think they need new talent. I don't think you can keep knocking on doors of people who have moved on to bigger, better things. I mean, there's only so many Mark Silvestris and Jim Lees and Rob Liefelds. And like you can see within Rob's case, I mean, he's swearing off of Marvel until there's big changes at that company. So where's the new talent that will go along with the way the structure is right now? Because a lot of these guys have been there, done that. And they're like, I'm just going to draw my own comics from here on out. Now, Jim, I think, is a special case. I think Jim Lee is a company man and all of that. But, you know, Jim's getting like big titles and big paychecks just to draw Hush on top of that. I mean, Marvel and DC can't keep going to old dogs to bring the industry back or try to rejuvenate this. They're going to need to develop new talent at some point in time. And every story is about creators getting burned from Marvel and DC in one way or another through the media stuff, developing a character that not get paid when they're in a TV show of their own and stuff like that. You almost think you have to rework the basic work for hire agreement today to build new talent, to get real talent, because new talent's going to video games, or they're making more money doing less work anywhere else. If you guys will hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. Let me know. Do you think it's too late for Mark Millar to save Marvel and DC Comics? Also, if you guys will, please go sign up for Anatomic. The sign up is live. This is a prequel to Inglorious Rex, our beautiful Monster Mayhem book. You can buy Inglorious Rex 1 and 2 on 9 Lives Comics now. And again, this is a great prequel anatomic. It'll lead up to the beginning of Inglorious Rex 1. I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic getting ready to launch soon. Sign up, get a free lenticular card with purchase and notification and access to special things nobody else can get.
If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Anatomic. And this is how my legend was made.